Chris Jones representing Pump Chasers, and we got Deneese.
Hey guys.
So anyway, as you see it from the title, which probably said something along the lines of "we're not dating anymore," not clickbait. It's the guy honest truth. All right.
It is.
And pretty much, without making this video longer than it needs to be, you know, long story short, hey, people just want different things. You know, if you can't come to an agreement of what you want as a union, I mean, it is what it is. You're gonna eventually resent each other. It's gonna cause a lot of issues. So, you know, you can't agree. Business, partnerships, relationships, anything. You cannot agree on what you both want for the future. You know, it's not gonna work. So that should be a lesson to anybody. You know, always be upfront about what you want. It's anything, you know, you want a house with no carpet. Don't be living with somebody who wants hardwood floors. If you don't want fucking kids, don't be with somebody who wants kids. You know, you want marriage, don't be with somebody who don't want marriage. It's just shit like that, guys. So at the end of the day, it's not.
She got some big ass hands. Well, it looked like that in the picture though. But shout out to Chris Johnson or Chris Jones. I think it's Chris Jones. My bad. Chris Jones and soon to be Deneese Jones from Pump Chasers. You got, you know, he finally made an honest woman out of her. He proposed. You got black love here, right here on YouTube, right in front of your face. Black love and black business going on at the same damn time. But let's talk about this situation. It was interesting for me, but I'm gonna speak on that. Let's see where you going. So to give a little black story, I hadn't been watching Pump Chasers videos over a while. Like, he'd been with Deneese for 4 years, so I when I was watching maybe 5-6 years ago, he was with a different chick. But I didn't know nothing about this situation. I kind of stopped watching his videos because at the time I think he was doing shows, and like he did a video where he like tried to hit 405 and he didn't hit it, and he was being goofy and silly, and I'm like, you know what, I'm good. And then I like kind of gravitated more to watching Mike Rashid and CC Fletcher because they actually hit the heavy ass weight. Nothing against him, it's just he was kind of goofy and silly and he couldn't even hit 405. And he's a bodybuilder, he's not a power lifter, so it's like that's not his game. But I really wasn't listening to him for a minute, but I think I started watching stuff again recently. I saw that he did the interview with Osage Jackson, and they were talking about, you know, relationships or whatever. But just to give a recap, Deneese, the woman who's in the video with him, or she's right there on the Stairmaster, they had broke up a couple months back, and she did a video, he did a video, they discussed why it was over. There was a little controversy with Chris because, you know, a lot of people was mad that, you know, they didn't break up. She put these hour-long sob story videos out of what happened and why they're not together. And I did reach out to her saying, like, because I wanted to talk about the situation. She never said nothing back. She did add me on Facebook, but she never said anything else, but obviously because they probably got back together. But I thought, you know, there's a learning experience. There's something we can peep from this situation when it comes to, you know, relationships and, you know, getting your money on and pre-success, post-success and all that other stuff. But it was controversial because a lot of people, you know, one thing like this, being on YouTube, being on social media, even though it's not as deep as being on like a reality show, I think it's probably worse because you're more connected with your audience. Like, you know, they watch your stuff, you get direct views, that's how you get paid off YouTube. So one of the things Chris said though was that was like a problem with their relationship with, you know, as soon as a guy with a girl, people see how they reacting. The first thing they say is, why don't you marry her, right? That's the logic, right? Everybody, when they talk about Serena, they're like, why didn't Carmen marry her? Why didn't so-and-so marry her? Like that's just it. But I say this, right? It was why I wanted to do this video, because when I was looking forward to doing the video with Deneese and talking to her about it, but it was like, she claims that she put in the time, he told her that marriage was a possibility. As he progressed and got more successful, conveniently, that conversation for him kept changing. He started getting more and more off. Those deadlines were not being met. he started talking about he don't want kids. These are her words. He didn't dispute them, so we going with what she said is true. So that happened. And you could tell she was caught up in him. You could tell she was feeling this man. Even like one thing that was weird, not weird, but as a word of advice for men, if you're dealing with a chick that got a relationship like that and she doesn't have closure yet, you're wasting your time. Clearly, he got back with her, but one time she said, you know, because he didn't fire her after they broke up. She still ran his warehouse business, and they stayed together. And she said herself, because I think one of the people asked her in the question when she did a Q&A, is, well, would you quit working there if your new guy said, you know, that he felt uncomfortable with you working for your ex-boss who used to go balls deep, right? And she was like, no, I'm not going to quit working. He pays me a lot of money. If a guy I'm dating feels uncomfortable with that, he need to pay me whatever. So I'm like, that's how I kind of knew like she wasn't going nowhere. She did say that she wasn't ready to date and all that stuff, but I kind of figured like she ain't going nowhere. She gonna stick around and wait for him to do whatever he want to do, even though she claimed she was tired of waiting for him to do what he said he would do. Now my philosophy is this: I don't think no chick should waste her youth, her prime years on a dude who does not know what he's doing, not know where he's going, don't have no vision. At the same time, I don't think no dude should be pressured or rushed into a marriage he's not ready for. And this is kind of what I want to talk about, is how we all hate when women try to take credit for a man's success. We hate that. We hear conversations about Obama and Michelle, and I'm like, that's different because it's politics, and that happens. Yes, Obama was accomplished. He had his degree, blah, blah, blah. But he still needed a person to have money. And him community organizing, him going into politics, he didn't have any. So she was shooting with him when he was in the gym, right? There's rumors about them about to get divorced because of him losing his first election. We hear the stories coming about from the ex that Obama dated while he was dating Michelle, saying she only got with him because of politics, and he knew that him having a black wife and them 75% black children would be more palatable for the black community. If he would have got with that Asian white chick, Obama would have not got the support that he got. You know, unlike Kamala Harris, who is biracial as well and got a white husband, her spouse is not going to affect her. Black people are going to support her. It is what it is. But Chris made the point. I mean, we make the point that we don't like women taking credit for dude's success and all that stuff. So, but from what I hear, and the fact that he took her back, the fact that he did not fire her or replace her after they broke up, because that's weird, right? You got someone who has all the codes and all the passwords and all the account numbers to the banks. Like, she handled all that. So he truly had to know she was a good chick to keep her having all of that while y'all not together no more, why you involved deep in other chicks and stuff like that. Like, again, those were just foreshadowing things that they're not done yet, right? But because of that, I can say, I'm not going to say she built the man. I've watched his early channel. I see where he came from. Did she assist him? Did she help him? I can't argue that he didn't. And I don't think Chris would either, because when his old Say Drew Jackson video, he was saying, like, he was being dumb, he was being stupid. And that's like this thing where, you know, what is it better to do, right? Get the dude pre-success, post-success, or whatever. And I'm like, well, Chris seems to be, from my observation, one of those dudes who was going into his sets. His girl was there at the peak, and then he starts smelling himself. Like, that's a risk you take when you get with somebody. But that's what women say. Like, if you get with a dude from the get-go, they end up getting going and leaving you, whatever. Like, look at what's going on with the so-called convict model dude, right? He got a wife and kids at home, but now he's over here in France and whatever, smashing out billionaire daughters, right? The man went from being locked up in prison to now he's exposed to all types of different things, all types of different, you know, vaginas, and of course he's cheating on his wife with some billionaire daughter, right? This happens, right? So I get that element, but the other alternative is don't mess with no dude until he get his stuff together, and then he can come back, right? That's the argument. That's what's being promoted now. That's what you hear a lot of women saying. Like, in 2017, there was no such thing as dating on potential. Dudes got to come correct or don't come at all. But one thing we don't talk about is that the dangers of that, or the flip side to that, it's just a trade off, whatever, is that sometimes these dudes are preparing not for sisters. Like, they're going off, they're busting their ass, they're sacrificing. Then when they get on, they are exposed to different environments, different elements. They might not see sisters where they're at. Then there's the whole thing with the sisters who are on that level at this age, when it takes brothers to get a little bit later to get on. Their clock is ticking. They want baby sooner. This dude wants to chill. He don't want to rush. He don't want to have no kids damn right away and all that. So, there's trade-offs to this, right? And I'm saying their relationship was interesting, seeing it play out on YouTube where, you can tell Chris, he was smelling himself. According to her, he was going to, I think they live in Texas, but they were in Cali. He going to Vegas when they were in Cali every other weekend. She looking at his Instagram. She's at home while he out popping bottles and doing stuff, flexing. You know what I mean? So it's like she dealt with that for a period of time before she said she couldn't deal with it no more. And again, the whole conversation. Now, she claims, and he didn't dispute it, again, like, he told her marriage and stuff was cool. Then year 2, wait to year 3. Then year 3, I don't want kids. And then she thinking like, I got everything I want. I got to do what I trust. He's got potential. He's working on his own business. He's building his own brand. He's going to be successful. Her mind's like, cha-ching, I need to get married and have a baby. That's what I want. I want family. She was honest from day one. And for a period of time, it does seem that Chris, as he got more success, as he grew, it probably, scared his ass. He probably fell back. And he said that YouTube situation really affected their relationship because everybody's in the comment section. He's got to go home and deal with her barking about marriage and stuff like that. And then he comes on YouTube and read the comments. It's like, yo, dude, why you ain't married that girl yet? Why you ain't married that girl yet? Like, why you ain't, you know what I mean? So that's one of the negatives of when you're dating on your come up and you're a public figure, so to speak, or you're part of your business is being on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. But I know it's like after seeing this video where he showed off the house he just bought and she picked everything and she got to decorate stuff, it's like I kind of knew like, okay, I'm putting the pieces together. The brother's about to propose, and sooner or later, right? Like it was just obvious. Like he bought his first house. And he let her do all this stuff. I'm like, you don't do that for a chick you're not about to marry. And then again, in the interview with Osage Jackson, he was pretty much saying like, yo, I was dumb. I was stupid. She's a good girl. And I'm glad I figured it out. He was talking about how when you're out there and you go in LA and you're around all these people, the flakiness, the unrealness, the chicks that you can't trust. So it's like he was the quote unquote prodigal son in his relationship. He went out, took a little dabble out there, realized the water's too hot. Let me come back home with this country girl and relax and chill. And it seemed like so far it's working out for him. I hope they work out. But again, it's interesting seeing their relationship play out on the internet and how we can look back and say like this whole pre-success, post-success, the trade-offs of doing it, waiting for a guy to get his shit together. Like this idea, the chick that you're dating, and she goes, you know what? You need to go get your shit together and come back to me. The chances of him coming back to you is not gonna happen. Like it's not. I remember Montana Danion. I don't watch her stuff. I think I watched like a couple of her videos, but I was like following her, so I don't know when this was. But it's an older video where she was talking about what's the best way to get you a millionaire. Whether you get one that's already successful, whether you get one that's in the making, or whatever. And she said that the best way is to build one up with you, like whatever, or as he's growing, you get him before he gets there, whatever. That was her video. And it seems like there is a difference when you get one that's already successful. His mindset, you would think he knows more what he wants, but the reality, he knows what he wants. So what he'll deal with, what he'll tolerate is a bit different than a guy who you was shooting with him when he was in the gym. You were with him by those steps. And again, that's different because that's subjective, because some chicks just think being there is enough. Whereas from what I see, it does seem that Deneese was not just there when he had problems with other business partners that were playing him or not, the money wasn't right. She was there. She helped. He lost partners throughout I know when he first started, he had a different partner that was with him that's not with him anymore. She claims she's the one that motivated him to be like, yo, you got to get rid of the dude or whatever. So I'm saying from the optics of what I see here, and he hasn't disputed any of that stuff. And in her 2 videos, I'll probably link them, where she was saying what she was saying. She was, spilling the beans because, it's funny too because like a lot of her followers are, because she claimed she was there, she was shooting when he was in the gym, but at the same time, even after they broke up, a lot of his followers follow her because of him. Like he put her on in that aspect. Like I'm not saying she doesn't have her own thing, but realistically speaking, for the fitness stuff, he put her on too in that regard. Like she has the Instagram followers and the Facebook followers because of him. But that's just my thoughts real quick. What do you think? Pre-success, post-success, how does that all play out? What are the trade-offs? Would you want to be in his situation and being on social media with your relationships? Because we already know how it looks for black people on reality shows when they get in relationships, or when they're on reality shows on TV, even though shit is fake, their relationships don't work out. Like they end up, a lot of times the chick, like if you look at Cordell Stewart with his chick, sometimes the chick get a little bit of that fame, the little reality TV fame. They start smelling themselves. They get a little bit more recognition outside of that, and it goes to their head. That's the same thing I think happened to Deion Sanders' wife from their show. And then they start trying to do other things that they were not doing before they got on a reality show, and it just don't mix, and they end up breaking up. But I don't know how many people on reality shows were together on the show, and then they ended up breaking up afterwards. So it's like this whole, when you're dating somebody and you're trying to be on social media, and like you have to be on camera, and people who are part of your life, you know what I mean? Like that might be a reason why some people keep their family off and don't let them contribute, because those things put pressures on your relationship. And he claims that was one of the things that bothered him the most, was every day having to read comments of people like, yo, why you ain't married her? Why you ain't married her? Why you ain't married her? And then it's like, I see that he follows O'Shea and other brothers, so I'm sure he getting a little of the red pill stuff too. Some of the MGTOW stuff he sees, he's probably smelling that too. So it's like, I'm sure that could be a bit of an influence. Also, one thing that's funny too is how, like, when I listen to Deneese talk about how they met and how she claimed that she was gonna reject him because of his height. Dude only 5'7". I know dude was that short. I don't know, it's weird too. Like, I got boys that go to the Arnold Classics and all that stuff, and they're in shape and whatnot, and they work out. But I'm like, these dudes, when you watch their videos, you think like, oh, these motherfuckers are big as hell. But seeing people that I know personally next to them, the motherfuckers all look small. Like, they all short. None of these dudes, they all vertically challenged. These dudes is not 6 feet at all. Like Ronnie Coleman and what's his name, Kai Green. All these boys are short as hell. They swole, but they just short. What was I gonna say? A lot of these dudes. Oh yeah, she said that she was gonna reject him because of his height or whatever. But she also admitted too, like, he couldn't be. He's not an educated lame. Listen to the man talking. That's not the case. She admitted he was a lame. I think somebody asked the question about, would you ever date somebody as popular as him and this and that? And she was like, she pretty much said he's a silly dude, which you can see. He's a silly dude. He's one of them anime watching type cats. He just worked out, right? That, that helped him. I guess that helped his swag, I guess, the fact that he was physically fit. But definitely a lame dude who got on. It was funny too, I'm going to talk about this in another video, how when him and Deneese broke up and he had just bought this car, he had the picture with one of his female partners at the gym, and he said that a lot of the pro-blackity black dudes were threatening him, talking about they not about to support. And I'm going to talk about that in a different video, though, about how black people who are successful oftentimes are successful despite the black community. But basically what he said was, like, in that O'Shea Jackson interview, he was like, well, only like 30% of my clientele is black when it comes to the merchandise. So what you really saying. Like, he wasn't even with the girl, but like that imagery of this dude coming up, even though he didn't come up off black people, right? He came off a diverse audience. I seen people try to put his video covering the Rich Piana thing and TMI, and they said he was saw shoe coon and all that stuff. I'm like, the man gave his opinion. It is what it is. But his predominantly financial base is not black people. So if y'all want him to go on some pro-blackity black stuff, he doesn't have an incentive to do that. His base is not black. Like, again, he looked at those analytics and said, whoa, black people only support me 30% of the time. 70% of my business online from my merchandise is from white folks or others, right? So, but that was interesting too. I'm gonna talk about that in a different video about incentives and how a lot of black successful people are successful despite the black community. That's my video. What are your thoughts?